ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Hare Krishna. So like every day, today also we are going to discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam. So today's topic is Canto 11, Chapter 3, Liberation from the Illusory Energy, and verse number 39. अंडेषु पेशिषु तरुषु अविनिश्चितेषु प्राणो हि जीवम् उपधावति तत्र तत्र सन्ने यदिन्द्रियगणे अहमी च प्रसूप्ते कूटस्थ आशयं मृते तद अनुस्मृतिनः। अंडेषु पेशिषु तरुषु अविनिश्चितेषु प्राणो हि जीवम् उपधावति तत्र तत्र सन्ने यदिन्द्रियगणे अहमी च प्रसुप्ते कूटस्थ आशयं मृते तद अनुस्मृतिर्नः। अंडेषु पेशिषु तरुषु अविनिश्चितेषु प्राणो हि जीवम् उपधावति तत्र तत्र सन्ने यदिन्द्रियगणे अहम् च प्रसुप्ते कूटस्थ आशयं मृते तद अनुस्मृतिर्नः। Mothers, word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki Andeshu, in species of life born from eggs, Peshishu in embryos, Tarushu in plants, Avinishchiteshu in species of indeterminate origin, born from perspiration. Pranaha, the vital air. He, indeed. Jivam, the soul. Upadhavati, follows. Tatra tatra, from one species to another. Sanne, they are merged. Yat, when. Indriya gane, all the senses. Ahami, the false ego. Cha, also. Prasupte, in deep sleep. Kutasthaha, unchanging. Ashayam, the subtle, covering of contaminated consciousness. The linga sharira. Rite, without. Tat, of that. Anuspratihi, there is subsequent remembrance. Naha, our. Translation. The spirit soul is born in many different species of life within the material world. Some species are born from eggs, others from embryos, others from the seed of plant and trees, and others from perspiration. But in all the species of life, the prana, the vital air, remains unchanging and follows the spirit soul from one body to another. Similarly, the spirit soul is eternally the same despite its material condition of life. We have practical experiment practical experience of this when we are absorbed in deep sleep without false ego, without dreaming. The material senses becomes inactive, and even the mind and false ego are merged into a dormant condition. But although the senses, mind, and false ego are inactive, one remembers upon waking that the soul was peacefully sleeping. Purport. When a living entity is awake, the material senses and mind are constantly active. Similarly, when one is sleeping, the false ego recollects one's waking experiences, and thus one experiences dreams or fragments of dream while sleeping. But in the state of prasupti or deep sleep, both the mind and the senses becomes inactive, and the false ego does not recall previous experiences or desires. The subtle mind and false ego are called linga sharira or subtle material body. This linga sharira is experienced in the form of temporary material designation such as I am a rich man, I am a strong man, I am a black, I am white, I am American, I am Chinese. The sum total of one's illusory conception of oneself is called ahankara or false ego. And due to this illusory conception of life, the living entity transmigrates from one species of life to another. As clearly explained in Bhagavad-gita, the spirit soul, however, does not change its constitutional position of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Although the soul may temporarily forget his position. To cite an analogous situation, if one dreams at night that he is walking in the forest, such a dream does not change one's actual position of lying in the bed within his apartment. Thus, it is stated in this verse, Kutastha Ashayam Rite. Despite the transformation of the subtle body, the spirit soul does not change. Srila Sridhar Swami has given the following example to illustrate this point. Etavantam kalam sukham aham aswapsam na kinchid avedisham. One often thinks, I was sleeping very peacefully, although I was not dreaming or aware of anything. It can be logically understood that one cannot remember something of which he has had no experience. Therefore, since one remembers peacefully sleeping, although there was no mental or sensual experience, such a memory should be understood to be a vague experience of spirit soul. Srila Madhvacharya has explained that the demigod, who are superior race of human like activities on a higher planetary system of this universe, do not actually undergo the gross ignorance of deep sleep as do ordinary human beings. Because the demigod have superior intelligence, they are not merged into ignorance at the time of sleep. In Bhagavad-gita, Lord Krishna says, Matta Spratarigyanam apohanam cha. Sleep is apohanam or forgetfulness. Sometimes by dreaming there is spriti or memory of one's actual condition. Although in a dream one may experience one's family or friend in an altered illusory state, but all such condition of remembering and forgetting are due to presence of the super soul within the heart. By the mercy of the super soul, one can have preliminary glimpse of the soul by remembering how one was peacefully resting even without mental or sensual experience. According to authorized commentaries on this verse, Avinishchiteshu means Shvedajeshu or born from perspiration. Srila Madhvacharya has pointed out, Bhu Swedena hi prayo jayante. The earth's dew is to be considered the perspiration of the earth, and various species of life are generated from dew. In Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.9, the situation of the soul in relation to prana is explained. Eshor Eshor anu atma chetasa veditavyo yasmin pranah panchadha samvishesha pranesh chittam sarvam otam prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavati esha atma. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. The soul is situated within the heart and it spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entity. When the soul is purified from the contamination of 5 kinds of air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. Thus, in the innumerable species of life, the spiritual soul remains situated within prana or the material life air. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitai Kripabdai Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhuve Namah Madhuryojjala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dhvanta Harine Namo Gauri Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambar Sambodhe Padam Bhujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhav Bhumi Swam Nirdishta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyaksha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurtushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jaitam Surtur Pango Mamanda Matergati Matsarvasya Padam Pujo Radha Madan Mohano दिव्यद्विन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधाशीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिविसेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवर्तटे स्थितः कर्षन्वेणुसुनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथाय श्रीयस्तुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। Hare Krishna. Before starting, I would like to seek the blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas, all of you, all of the Vaishnavas, and especially Maharaj. Please bless me so that I can speak little bit from this verse. So the question for this, in the previous verse, it is explained that Brahman, the eternal soul, was never born and will never die, nor does it grow or decay. That spiritual soul is actually the knower of the youth, middle age, and death of the material body. That the soul can be understood to be pure consciousness, existing everywhere at all times and never being destroyed, just as the life air within the body, although one, becomes manifest as many in contact with various material senses. The one soul appears to assume various material designation in contact with the material body. And in the continuation with this, now in this verse it is explained that how in different material bodies the soul is experiencing. But in the but in this verse it is also explained that the soul is intact. The soul is not having any connection with any material body. And if the soul is not having any connection with any material body, that means whatever happiness, distress, or whatever the changes is happening in this whole world is not connected with the soul. The soul is not having anything like this. We'll go with purport also. So, the very first line of this sloka says, Andeshu, Peshishu, Tarushu, Avinishtiteshu. So, these are the four types, the four categories in which 84 lakh species are distributed. So, there are two words. There are two words. One is Chatushvidha, 4 types, and one is Dvividha, 2 types. So 2 types and 4 types. So 2 types means Chara and Achara. And Chaturvidha means 4 types, means these 4 types. The birth from the eggs, the birth from the embryos, the birth from the perspiration, and the birth from the seed. So, any birth in the whole material world, is taking place is on the base of these 4 categories. So, Andeshu means one who is born from the eggs. Just like we see the birds are there, some fishes are there, they lay down eggs. And from eggs, they take birth. Then, Peshishu means embryos. The animals, 4-legged animals and humans, they take birth. Then Taru means trees and plants. So trees and plants take birth from seeds. And Avinishtiteshu, the species which in the word to word meaning it is mentioned, thus in species of indeterminate. Indeterminate means it is out of the dew of earth or the perspiration. from the perspiration, that means the small insects or bugs, right? Or small insects, we see the small creatures, they take birth. So they take birth from this. So these four kinds of birth are categorized in 84 lakh species. These four kinds. And is mentioned in many places in Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 9th verse, 13th verse, Rishi Markandeya, when he sees this annihilation of whole creation, so he also sees these four kinds. Then in the purport of 331.2, Srila Prabhupada explains about the seed, perspiration, eggs and ambrose. And again in 5th canto, 18th verse and 5th canto, 18th chapter and 32 verse, again the same thing has been explained. Then again in 2nd canto, 10th verse, 10th chapter, 37 to 40 verse, this all things has been explained. So how the living entity is taking birth in these four kind, in these four types. No living entity is taking birth out of these four. Only four types. I think Lord Brahma is giving birth from mind or something like that. But no other living entities, means general living entities. They don't take birth like this. They have to take birth in these four categories only. Andeshu, Peshishu, Tarushu, Avinishchiteshu. In these four types only, all the living entity, they are taking birth. And after taking birth, what happens? Prano hi jivam upadhavati tatra tatra. The soul, the prana, the life air with the soul transmigrates many places. Means in this birth also, kaumaram yomanam jara, birth, then young age, then old age, then death, then again in the next birth. So the prana, the life air, continues with the soul, and it goes with the soul, wherever soul goes, and whatever body soul takes. The soul goes like that. So in Bhagavad-gita, Supreme Lord has explained so many things like that. So 2nd chapter, 19 verse. He says, the soul is never slain. Ya enam veti hantaram, yash chaina manyate hatam, ubho tavana vijanito, nayam hantina hanyate. Neither he who thinks the living entity, the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. Any person who is thinking the soul with the body is getting slain, that person is not in knowledge, because the soul is indestructible. So that is explained in Bhagavad-gita, many places by Supreme Lord himself. Again in 21st verses, Supreme Lord says, O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? One who knows the soul is indestructible, unborn, he can understand that the soul cannot kill other soul and cannot get killed by other soul also. Only by this body. This body kills other body and other body kills this body. That only happens. Jai SriSriRadhaRasbihari Vishaka Giraj Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Shri Sitaramshan Hanuman ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaunitai ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Only this body. Just like if two person is fighting and one person kills another person. So this person kills another person, but the soul of this person do not kill the other person's soul, because the soul is not having any connection with this body, although the soul get karma. So the soul don't kill the other soul. This body, the action of this body is giving the reaction or any connection with the other body. Whatever happens with the soul is only with the identification of this body. If I identify myself in this body, then only the happiness, the distress, or whatever things happens to this body, or even the identity of this body, that will affect me. But the soul is completely aloof. It is not having any connection with that. Just like if someone says that Raghupati Vishnu Das has done a good seva, then there are so many persons sitting. But because I identify myself with the name Raghupati Vishnu Das, therefore I feel, appreciation came on me. Right? And if someone chastises, if someone says, you go today and you will get good chastisement, or say 10 devotees or 15 devotees are sitting, and some devotee comes and says that today some senior devotee will come and he has identified that Raghupati Vishnu Das named devotee has done some mistake, some mischief or some mistake or something bad, so he will get chastisement. So out of the assembly of that 10 or 50 devotees, only one person who identify himself with the name, only he will be in distress. Although the chastisement has not come, but still he will be in distress. Why? Because he identifies himself with that particular name. Just like sometimes, every day morning, the announcement takes place about prasad, feast prasad, sadhu bhojan. So sometime it is mentioned, the sadhu bhojan is there, but for brahmacharis. So only devotees, here so many devotees are sitting, brahmacharis are also sitting, youth devotees are also sitting, matajis are also sitting, right? So many devotees are sitting, but only brahmachari feels joy. Oh, today is feast and we are going to have feast, right? Or if sometimes the news comes or the announcement comes like, today is ISKCON. So youth don't have any tension. ISKCON is there, but not for me. Or any devotee other than brahmachari, they don't feel, no, nothing is there for me. Is there for brahmachari. So any person who is identifying himself as that I am brahmachari or I am practicing in a brahmachari ashram, he will only have that tension or joy. Because he identifies himself. But he identifies out of false ego. Not real ego. The false ego that I am with this body. I am this and this person. Just like now recently one news came that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he announced that don't buy gold. So who will be in tension? Who will be in tension? One who thinks that I'll buy gold this year or this month. Those who don't buy gold, they'll not in tension. Or he says, please use less diesel and petrol. Who will be in tension? One who uses public transport, he will not be in tension. There is nothing for me. Because he said use public transport. Right? So similarly, anything, whatever which we identify ourselves, with that identification of the body or the name or the position, with that only we feel happiness or distress. Just like we came from the schooling and many places. So, say for example, there is 2 class, 9th class and 10th class. So, if in school, if some announcement happens that this thing is for 10th class, this particular extra homework or extra syllabus is for 10th class, then the person, the student who is in 10th class, he will feel joy or whatever experience he is having because of that syllabus. But once he is crossing the 10th class and he is coming into the college, now again the similar announcement will happen in the same year. Sorry, in the next year. Again the similar announcement will happen that this particular syllabus the 10th class has to follow. But the person, the student who has passed out from 10th class, now he will not have any connection with that. So, in any circumstances, whatever feeling, the joy or the misery or the birth or the death, whatever is happening or whatever we are feeling is only because of our identification with that particular things. And we have seen as soon as we cross a particular stage or age or situation, if anything happens to that particular stage or situation which we have crossed out or we have came out, now we don't have any feeling or understanding for that. So this is about the connection, and therefore the word has been used here, sanne yadindriya gane ahami cha prasupte. There are three stages of sleep. There are three stages of wake up, the stage when the person is awakened. Second, the stage of sleep, and third, the stage of susupti. Jagrati, Swapna, Susupti. So Jagrati means the person is awake. When the person is awake, then that time his gross body, his material body, both are active with the soul. The gross body is active, the subtle body is active, and the soul is always active. Right? But Swapna means the gross body goes to sleep. The gross body is not working. This Pancha Dhatu, earth, ether, water, fire, air. It is not working. But we are getting Swapna, we are getting dream that I am doing something like this, I am doing something like that, I am with my family, I am with my friends, I am with brahmacharis, I am with devotees. That time we feel, that time we think. That is Swapna. So that means what? When we are getting Swapna means what? That means mind, intelligence, ego, the subtle body is active, which is called here as Linga Sharira. The Linga Sharira is active. So when the Linga Sharira is active, that time the gross body is not working, subtle body is working, and the soul is active. But the Susupti means the gross body is not working, the subtle body is also not working, but the soul is still active. What is the proof? The proof is Susupti means we sleep but we don't get dream. We are sleeping but we are not getting dream. But as soon as if someone wake up, if some call comes to us and we come out of the sleep, that time we recall that I had sleep. I went to sleep on this particular time. Now I got up and now I am working. So he recalls the situation. The soul was active. The soul was active. Still in the same body. It is not that in the susupti, in the deep sleep we change the body. No. In the deep sleep, we all had experience. We experience every day, like, sometimes Jagruti, sometimes Swapna, sometimes Susupti. We experience this. So in this, the soul is still active. The whole body, the gross body is not working. The subtle body is not working, but the soul is still active. Similarly, when the soul changes the body, the soul is same. The soul is not having any connection with that. The soul is still same. So, no matter whether we are in Jagrati, Swapna or Susupti, if we awaken our Krishna consciousness, why the example is giving? The example is given here, when we awaken our Krishna consciousness, then this whole material world, which is like Swapnavat, will come to understand that whatever birth we had taken, whatever this happiness or distress we have experienced, that everything was Swapnavat. and I am the spirit soul. Only in the illusion I was sleeping. So here, the example is given. Sorry, we are coming to the purport. So, the reference from Srila Sridhar Swami is given in purport. The following example to illustrate this point: Etavantam kalam sukham aham aswapsam na kinchid avedisham. One often thinks, I was sleeping very peacefully, although I was not dreaming or aware of anything. It can be logically understood that one cannot remember something of which he has had no experience. Therefore, since one remembers peacefully sleeping, although there was no mental or sensual experience, such a memory should be understood to be vague experience of a spirit soul. This we experience when we are in a deep sleep. That time we experience that our this the material covering, the gross body is not working. That time we experience that our sensual experience is also not working. But still I was sleeping. I was taking rest. So that is mentioned here. Now, Srila Madhvacharya has explained that the demigod, who are superior race of human-like entities on the higher planetary system of this universe, do not actually undergo the gross ignorance of deep sleep as do ordinary human beings. Means they remember, because sometimes what happens, even when we go to sleep, then in the sleep also, when the dream comes, so sometimes we remember our dream. Sometime when we wake up, that time, sometimes we share our dream. Today I had dream, I was taking darshan of Radha-Rasbihari. I had dream that I was having feast. I had dream that, I was preaching someone, or I was doing book distribution. So we remember that dream. So here it is stated that the demigods, they don't have deep sleep. Means they remembers. But we get deep sleep. Right? So the sleep is also what? The sleep is apohanam. That is also done by Krishna. No, it is also blessings of Krishna. Ignorance is also bliss, because without ignorance, without a mode of ignorance, how we will get sleep also? That is also needed. But this apohanam, what Supreme Lord says, mattah smritirgyanam apohanam cha. From Supreme Lord comes smriti, jnana and apohana. Apohana means forgetfulness or sleep. That is also coming from Krishna. We sit in the exam, prepare very nicely, right? So when we read question, some answers we remember, some answer we forget. But we remember, yesterday I practiced for this, but now I am not remembering. Now something is there. And as soon as I come out of the exam, I had prepared this, but somehow I forgot that. Right? So it is apohanam. So the sleep is also apohanam. So sometimes by dreaming, there is spriti or memory of one's actual condition. Although in a dream, one may experience one's family or friends in an altered illusory state. But all such conditions of remembering and forgetting are due to the presence of super soul within the heart. Whatever is happening with us, that is because of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Whether we are remembering something, whatever knowledge we have, or whatever forgetfulness is there, also there. Just like sometimes it is explained that forgetfulness is also important, it is needed. If we remember last birth, how I got my death, how I experienced my death. If we experience that, then we will always think like that. No, this thing has happened, this thing has happened. Just like in device, we explain near-death experience or out-of-body experience, reincarnation. So sometime it happens. So that time, the particular living entity, he thinks like, it has happened in the last birth with me. I fell from here, or someone killed me, or I got fire, and because of fire, I have to leave my body. So person will be in anxiety. So it is Krishna's mercy, he gives forgetfulness. Forget that tension. Now enjoy present life. So therefore, all three things is Krishna's mercy. And now, in this purport, according to the authorized commentaries on this verse, avinishchiteshu means swedijeshu. Swedijeshu means perspiration, or born from perspiration. Srila Madhvacharya has pointed out, bhu swed hi prayo jayante, means whatever the dews are there in the earth, that dew is called as the perspiration of the earth. And from that, so many living entities are taking place or taking birth. So, the reference is given in Mundaka Upanishad, Esho Anur Atma Chetashe Veditavyo Yasmin Prana Panchada Samvishesha Pranesh Chittam Sarvam Otam Prajanam Yasmin Vishuddhe Vibhavati Esha Atma. That is, the soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. The soul is very small, fragmental. How much fragmental? Keshagra Shatabhagasya Shadada Kalpitasya. Right? 10,000. 1/10,000 part of the tip of the air. So small. So it can be only perceived by the intelligence or the experience of the spiritual practice. Otherwise not. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. Now someone will ask, if the soul is very small, atomic, the small atomic soul, which even we cannot see, how this atomic small soul is running the big body, the body of a human being, or an elephant, or big whale, or shark? So by this 5 kind of air. By this 5 kind of air, the soul is maintaining this body. And Srila Prabhupada gives example in the purport, just like the modern scientists, they experience experience and they explain that the body is getting energy from the heart. Because of the pumping of the heart, the body is getting energy. So who is in the heart? Supreme Lord and the soul. The soul is there. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjun tishtati. So Ishvara, 2 Ishvara is there. One is Ishvara of this body, and second is Supreme Ishvara, ultimate Ishvara. So they reside in the body, and they run the whole body. They give energy to the whole body. How? By this 5 kind of air. Panchada Sambhavishesha. The soul is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body. One more example Srila Prabhupada gives in that purport, that just like one takes a medicine, small medicine. We are having pain in some of the part of our body, say maybe head or hand, and we take small medicine. The small medicine goes in the stomach and it mixes in the blood, and then the medicine, the power of medicine goes to the particular place where it needs. Right? So if a small medicine can go in the body, wherever, sometimes we have whole body pain, and we take a small medicine, whatever painkiller we take. The one painkiller helps us to come out of that pain. How? Because that small painkiller goes in the body and it spreads in the whole body with the help of blood, and then we get relief. Or similarly, the small soul, the smallest fragmental part of soul, that soul is also spread in the whole body with the help of this five kind of air. But when the soul is purified from the contamination of the five kind of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. Even this five kind of air, which helps soul to run the body, that is also contamination. So when we come out of this contamination, then we will experience our spiritual identity. Then we will experience our real ego, not false ego. What is false ego? In this purport only, it is mentioned. Linga Sharira experience in the form of temporary material designation, such as I am rich, I am strong, I am black, I am white, I am American, I am Chinese. So many times we have heard also in lectures. Because of this designation, false ego. But what is real ego? I am Krishna Das. I am servant of Krishna. Or Gopir Bhartu Padakamalo Das 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 Dasanudas. I am servant of Krishna, or I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, one who maintains gopi. Right? So that is spiritual awakening. So, thus in the innumerable species of life, the spiritual soul remains situated within prana or the material life air. So here in the whole explanation, it is explained about the prana, which goes with the soul in different bodies, in different species. And because the soul identifies oneself in false ego, different designation, different bodies, therefore the soul is having experience of material activities or material feelings. Okay, so I understood little bit from this. I may have done so many mistakes. So I'll seek the corrections and blessings of senior Vaishnavas and all of you. If you can bless me. Hare Krishna. Maharaj ji.
This is the purport maybe. Thus in the innumerable species of life, the spiritual soul remains situated within pran, or the material life here. Can you explain something about pran and soul? What is the difference between soul and pran and material life here? How soul is situated in pran? Pran
So,
means what?
Pran means life air. Life air. So the soul is active, and with the life air is also given by Krishna. So in the life air, the soul situates, and with the soul, life air goes into different bodies, and with life air only the soul helps this body to maintain. I may be incorrect. Maybe some senior devotee, Gokuleshwar Prabhu, Sundar Chaitra Prabhu can guide me. Give to Prabhuji. Give to Prabhuji. Gokuleshwar Prabhu. Prabhuji explains very nicely.
Hare Krishna. Generally my answers come out only in Vyasasana. So my understanding is, Prabhupada explains there are different types of airs in the body. Some airs which we feel when we breathe, breathing in, breathing out. Some airs which take items inside the body up, going on to our head. Some airs which take items inside the body down, especially stool, urine, and even we pass air. So there is a movement of air. All these airs are different. So soul is situated in these airs. Just like if you see a leaf in the sky, have you seen leaf in the sky? So that leaf is situated in some form of movement of wind or air. But we don't see the air, we only see the leaf in the sky or a kite going up and down. In the same way, soul is situated on a subtle plane in that prana. Yeah, that's all I know. Hare Krishna.
जैसे 10 प्रकार के वायु बोले गए हैं, प्राण, व्यान, अपान, वायन, वैसे बोले गए हैं शास्त्रों में। तो महाराज जी जैसे बोले कि प्राण में जो सोल है, आत्मा हो, कैसे रहती है, किस प्रकार रहती है। तो इन माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग, मैं कहीं पढ़ा था, पता नहीं, याद नहीं आ रहा है, जैसे वायु में सुगंध रहती है, दिखाई नहीं देती लेकिन महसूस होती है, उसी प्रकार वो रहता है, उसी सुगंध की तरह।
Yes, Srila Prabhupada has explained this in purport in Bhagavad-gita. In Bhagavad-gita, in one of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that just like the air takes, aroma, aroma of bad smell or good smell. Similarly, the life air takes the soul with us. And the same thing, Prabhuji explained that, we see the kite, we see the leaf. But the kite and the leaf is taken from one place to another by the air only. So similarly like that. Right, Prabhuji? Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. So one question, you were mentioning that how the living entities experiencing joy or sorrow because he identifies with different designation or material identity. So my question is that identification is to some degree it is required also. For example, somebody playing some role as a teacher, as a preacher, as a father. So if he don't identify only with that role, then he will not able to play that. So, but here question is that if he identifies, he become attached, and that's how he experience the suffering also because of that.
When someone is put in some situation, and in that particular situation, he has to identify I'm this person or that person, then only he will do that service, right? Is only the question. And unless we identify ourselves that I'm in this particular position, then how we can serve? Right?
The point is that suffering, one is suffering because of his identifying or experiencing positive or negative emotions.
Yes.
So
just see, just like you ask about the preacher. So the two kind of preacher is also there. We have, almost every one of us, we have read Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita also, and we see also so many senior devotee and Maharaj, they are doing preaching. So we can see our level of preaching and understanding and their level of preaching and understanding. Our level of preaching and experience and their level of preaching and experience. Both are different. When we preach in the neophyte stage, that time we have different understanding for preaching. What I want from this preaching. That is more important. So our identification that I am preacher. But I am preacher and I am preaching, and what I want from this preaching, that gives the experience. The senior devotees, the pure devotees, or they feel what? That I am preaching for what? I am preaching to take this soul to Krishna. And by the mercy of Krishna, I can do this. Or by the mercy of Acharya and senior Vaishnava, I can do this. Right? But when we preach, what we think? Right? I am preaching this boy so that in this boy will be helpful in this or that. Or no, now 2 boys is coming. When 4 boys will come, I'll feel more happy because I preach 4 boys. Right? I'm also thinking like this. I'm also not senior. So, no, our thinking is like that. Srila Prabhupada, he preached in India. He preached in India for so many years, more than he preached in America or any foreign country. He didn't get any result in India, but still he was considering himself as a preacher, messenger of his Guru Maharaj's order, and he went out, and still he continued with the same energy. Now if something will happen like this with us, 2 months, 4 months, 4 years, we are preaching and no result is coming, what will feel? Will not continue with the same energy. Right? So that also depends, in that preaching also what we want. In what consciousness I am preaching. So in that situation also, our identification with the situation, with the position also important. Just like, I am preacher. I am sorry, I'll take little more time. Prabhuji, chalega? Just like I think I am preacher. I am going to preach someplace. So, when I am going to preach someplace, that time we decided that there will be 5 devotees who will help, who will do preaching, who will give lecture or assist in lecture or in preaching. Right? One devotee will do prasad seva, one devotee will do program setup seva, one devotee will do cleaning seva, one devotee will register the boys, and one devotee will give lecture, right? Now all of a sudden, 2 devotees didn't came, only 3 devotees there. Now my identification is, I will do this. Others' identification is, he will do that. For example, one devotee who has taken the seva of prasad serving, he didn't came. So that means, I will not do this service because I haven't taken this service. Right? This service is not mine. When we were deciding the service, that time, it was not decided that I will do prasad service. Right? Or if I am going for preaching and no one came, only I am there. So that person has to do all the service. He has to give lecture also, prasad serving also, you have to register the boys also, everything he has to do. Right? So, if I will identify myself that I am only going for giving lecture and no one came, I'll feel bad. Right? That I have to do this also, that also, I have to give lecture also. But when Srila Prabhupada went to America, or when he was preaching in India, he used to do everything. He was preacher, but not only speaker or not only this or not only that. He was everything. So his consciousness of preaching and our consciousness of preaching is different. The senior devotee's consciousness preaching and our is different. The preacher, whatever consciousness he has taken, according to that consciousness, he will feel experience the miseries or bliss. Right? Okay, any other? Yes. Last question, I'll finish.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you said, when we we transmigrate our body, so that time we carry our consciousness or this pran vayu carries. So what exactly things are there? Because I have heard the subtle body also we carry, and so what?
Yeah, we carry subtle body. Prana vayu, subtle body, we carry.
And
Subtle body, prana vayu, that carries to other body. So therefore our, the past experience, we feel that. Just like phobias are there. Therefore we feel like that. From birth only we have some experience. That is the storage of past life. Yeah. Okay? Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.